in my business that I have worked my ass off for in any way, I definitely go after
Janet takes down things that are either embarrassing to a creator or negative about a creator.
What qualifies them to make an assessment of her mental health? Neither of them has a degree in psychiatry that I'm aware of. So that's my first red flag.
And the reason I'll tell you that I have taken down is because one, you're not gonna bully me and talk and spread lies. And two, I love when they get upset about it.
Me too.
That is hilarious. Like, it is the highlight of my life when they...
This is a strategic, like, bullying method that she's using.
And then Lauren responded that by making a post insinuating that he is a creepy guy who just has, like, kids' equipment in his house for no reason, and completely ignored the fact that it's literally his job.
That's the level of petty that Janet is willing to stoop to.
I'm not joking. I promise you that I am telling the truth. She compares me, see, her footage for critique and commentary as murder.
The individuals discussed in today's video are all public figures and have posted their content publicly to the internet. As with all of my content on my channel, this video is protected by the Fair Use Act under copyright law. I'm giving commentary regarding situations that have happened in real life and on the internet by individuals that present themselves as public figures. Everything I say is completely my own opinion and my understanding of certain situations. I am in no way a lawyer, a legal representative for anyone, and this is not legal advice at all. This is all my own opinion. This is not defamation, bullying, anything like that. Please do not seek out anyone that I have mentioned in this video. It's best to keep all of that discourse in the comments below. Now that we have gotten those pesky disclaimers out of the way, let's lighten the mood with a little fun fact. What is the absolute best way to make sure that commentary creators on social media will make a video about you? Try to silence them. And that is exactly what Jeanette M. Braun of Braun IP Law has tried to do. Jeanette Braun, affectionately referred to as Janet by many of us on the internet, is a lawyer who, it seems, represents many TikTok influencers who not only have many problems, but in my opinion, are the problem. On Janet's client list, you can find the names of internet personalities such as Bunnie XO, Lauren the Mortician, Gabbie Egan, Demps, Perfectly Kelsey, Gerard, and Mama Tot. Jeanette has been accused of misusing, and some may go as far to say abusing, reporting systems across multiple social media platforms in order to have less than favorable content regarding her clients scrubbed from the internet. This allegedly includes, but is not limited to, entire Reddit threads, Reddit posts, Reddit accounts, TikTok videos, entire TikTok accounts, Facebook pages, Facebook posts, and YouTube videos, and even a podcast or two. Now, TikTok and Meta, Facebook and Instagram, their reporting systems are, for lack of a better word, a little bit spooky. Thankfully, YouTube's is a little bit better, but overall, these systems, across all social media typically, are overwhelmingly automated. Many times, it's hard to speak to a person at all. And if you're lucky, you can request to have it, on YouTube at least, have your content manually reviewed by an actual human in typically the legal department of YouTube. But usually on other platforms, you are completely out of luck and your content will just be taken down. Now, I have no doubt that this video is going to be not copyright claimed, but copyright striked by Jeanette or Janet. I'm just gonna refer to her as Janet from now on because I find it hilarious. And for that reason, I'm not having a sponsor on this video. I will get more into that later. But it does seem, unfortunately, that through Instagram and TikTok, that Janet has been pretty successful, in my opinion, at getting content taken down and in turn silencing those creators. Now, thankfully, the commentary community on YouTube, if you try to silence one of us, the rest of us are just going to be a lot louder. Now, to truly understand how unethical this character is, and in my opinion, unlawful, again, I am not a lawyer in any way, it is just my understanding of the situation, we do need to go over, and I need you to truly understand freedom of speech, defamation of a public figure, copyright infringement and the Fair Use Act, and the reporting processes on these social media platforms. So we're going to go over all of those, and then we're going to go over the web of connections and the lore that is Janet, TikTok's most unhinged lawyer. Now, before I take you to school, my own lawyer would like me to clarify once again and really drive this point home. Yes, last summer, I was planning on and making moves to finish my degree and then start the process of applying to law schools, taken the tests, all those things, so that I could go to law school and have that in my back pocket. However, then I got pregnant and had a little human. So that really just all went out the window, and that's fine. I am not a lawyer. I am not a legal representative of anyone. This is not legal advice at all. These are all my own opinions, my own understanding of all of these situations. However, I would like to make it clear that being a commentary creator and covering what I do cover on my channel, scams, unethical influencers, things like that, I am very well versed in copyright infringement, copyright law, freedom of speech, defamation. I have received quite a lot of cease and desists, not only from unethical scammy companies themselves, but then also from multiple individuals, public figures that I have covered on my channel too. I actually have my first cease and desist that I ever received right there. It is a hilarious excuse for a cease and desist. I have that framed because that was a huge turning point in my YouTube career, so to speak. I've received so many cease and desists, I could wallpaper my new office with them. I won't do that though, because that would not be cute. Thankfully, I know my rights. I know what I can and cannot say. I am within my own legal bounds, if you will. And if there's two things you can count on with my channel, it's that you are 90% of the time always going to be able to hear my bulldog Wiggum snoring in the background of my videos. And then the second thing you can always count on is that I'm not gonna shut up, especially if someone tries to silence me as well, or my friends. All right, we're done with all that. I'm sorry, let's get into it. Now let's go over defamation of a public figure. I'm gonna go over this in layman's terms. We're just going over everything real quick so that y'all have a basic understanding, because it really does seem like not only Jeanette's clients don't understand copyright law, copyright infringement, Fair Use Act, and then defamation, any of that, but then it seems like their followings don't either. And that's, as a lawyer, you're just doing a disservice, in my opinion, to your clients if you are not educating them on that, because that makes you look worse, in my opinion. Not that Jeanette needs any help making herself look awful. Here we are. So a quick rundown of all of these topics. Like I said, let's go over defamation of a public figure. Defamation as a whole, as an umbrella, is any form of communication that is intended to or that can injure a third party's reputation. Now, there are two types of defamation, and there is slander and libel. The way I remember it is that slander is spoken word, has an S, so spoken, and then libel is written or published. Now, in this day and age, when it comes to like the internet, yes, I am speaking, but it is not slander, because I'm not speaking it to like a crowd out in public, you know, or even just one person in person. It would still be libel because if I was defaming someone, because this is published form. It is on the internet. I have published a video. For example, if I post a video saying that Jeffree Star eats puppies and I state it as a fact, that's libel, okay? Because I published the video. That's just an example. I don't think he eats puppies. To prove defamation, we have to check all these boxes. 1, a false statement stated as a fact. This is why it's so important to use protective language and not speak in absolutes. If you watch a lot of commentary channels, you probably are tired of hearing phrases like allegedly, or this was alleged to me, or in my opinion. We say those things to protect ourselves legally so that we are not stating anything definitively as a fact. Number 2, publication or communication of the statement to a third party, meaning you are distributing that statement at hand to others. Number 3, the defendant acted with actual malice in making the defamatory statement. And then 4, the plaintiff was able to prove that the statements caused damages, loss of revenue, contracts being broken or not renewed, sponsors backing out, etc. There are a few things that are, as we like to say, death of defamation. And first and foremost, my favorite, a statement being true. If it's true, it's not defamation. And then going further than that, if it's an opinion, it's not defamation. Me saying, I don't think Jeanette's a good lawyer. That's just my opinion. It's my preference. From what I've seen, I don't think she's a good lawyer. That's okay. I'm not stating it as a fact. It's, I don't think that she is. It's okay. It's just my opinion. And then if I went further to say Jeanette has successfully silenced multiple creators on multiple platforms by taking advantage of the reporting system across those platforms, simply for those certain creators talking about her clients, that's not defamation. That's a fact. She has done that. Her clients have even said that she has done that. Also, let's be clear too, because a lot of people don't understand this. Anyone can sue anyone for anything, which is going to come up later because Jeanette's trying to do that now. Like I said, with all the cease and desist that I've received, all of them are complete BS. They don't have a legal leg to stand on, as I like to say. If those entities or those individuals actually went through with trying to sue me, that case wouldn't even make it past a judge's desk, most likely. We would file a motion for dismissal and it would most likely get dismissed right away. Also, thanks to the anti-slap laws that are in Florida, whoever would be trying to sue me and waste my time with a frivolous lawsuit would end up having to pay my attorney's fees, which are expensive. So good luck to them. Now let's discuss copyright law, copyright infringement, and then the Fair Use Act. This is a huge aspect of this entire topic that not only Jeanette seems to think, in my opinion, from what I've seen, that she is just an expert on, but she's contradicted herself multiple times and really just given unhinged examples and rebuttals. It's just truly wild. And then many of her clients that have posted content about this subject are completely wrong and don't know what they're talking about at all. And if I was their lawyer, I would be very embarrassed because yikes. And then if I was them and she was my lawyer, I would be very ashamed and embarrassed as well. Generally, an infringement refers to the act of unlawful copying of material under intellectual property law. It is an act that interferes with the right of intellectual property ownership. In a copyright infringement matter, the plaintiff would need to establish valid copyright ownership, that they own the content that is being allegedly stolen, and the copying of elements of the original copyrighted work. A copyright owner has the following rights. A great example of copyright infringement regarding internet content and social media is known as clipping. There are entire accounts on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, primarily with short form content, that will take clips of other people's content and re-upload it to the platform. Sometimes they will have a video game playing or like some soap being cut on a split screen. And that's actually not okay. That violates copyright law. And that's where the Fair Use Act comes in, because the example that I just gave with clipping does not actually change the content enough to make it qualify as transformative to have it fall under fair use. The Fair Use Act protects the use of content that you don't own the rights to when you are adding commentary to that content and not just re-uploading it. This is how reaction channels, commentary creators, podcasts, news outlets, and many more are able to show someone else's content. According to YouTube, fair use is a legal doctrine. Use of copyright protected material under certain circumstances is allowed without permission from the copyright holder. YouTube gets many requests to remove videos that copyright holders claim are infringing under copyright law. Sometimes these requests apply to videos that qualify for copyright exceptions or seem like clear examples of fair use. The content in which the copyrighted content is being used has to be transformative, giving commentary, opinions, breakdowns, updates, criticism, etc. That is transformative. The amount of time copyrighted work is shown is important as well. For instance, with my content, if I'm making a video and showing, let's say a Zoom call, for example, if I'm sneaking into a Zoom call for a scammy company, exposing that, whatever, and I just do an intro, show the entire call, and then for like the outro, just that's it, and don't like break it up, that's not transformative. You can't do that. Not okay. However, if you're interjecting multiple times, breaking down certain things, giving updates, giving commentary on it, and commentary not just meaning, for instance, like a creator, Sniper Wolf, the way that she will react to content, she'll just sit there and be like, wow, cool, not okay. Can't do that. Another example of this is, and I was going to bring this up later, but fits here too. Another good example of this is, for instance, I have only done a copyright strike, I believe twice or 3 times. Because there was a certain creator that was trying to expose me. It's okay if you're trying to expose me, go for it, I don't care. But make sure that you're not just re-uploading my content. That's not okay. You can't do that. So I was able to have her content taken down. I even said publicly, I was like, girl, if you just add commentary, go for it. Then I can't have anything taken down, and I won't. But you're just re-uploading my content. Maybe you sped it up here or there. Maybe you added in a meme here and there. It's just a compilation at that point, and that's not okay. That's not protected under fair use. Showing someone's picture, showing a clip of their Instagram, of their profile, like I will do and a lot of commentary channels do, we will, put their little snippet of their profile up so you can, see who we're referencing, a picture of them, their username. That is not copyrighted material. You might think that it is, because you've been misinformed, possibly by your not very intelligent lawyer, but that's not the case. And even if it is copyrighted artwork, if someone is giving commentary on it, then it doesn't matter. It's protected under fair use. I have seen a lot of Janette's clients posting videos or clips of them talking about how they get content taken down because they don't want someone to make a profit off of their face or their content. That's fine. But what they're having taken down, from what I have seen and to my understanding, is commentary. It's someone stitching it. It's someone talking about their experience. It's someone critiquing them. It's not okay for you to silence someone just because they don't like you. Now, if they are actually harassing you, if their entire channel, if they have made 15 straight videos about you and are just being awful, okay, fine. That could, and not just like actually reporting on what happened, then that could be seen as bullying and harassment. Okay. However, if someone is just reporting on a situation and essentially being the messenger to an audience regarding your own actions, that's not bullying, that's not harassment, that's not stealing your content and making a profit off of it. That's the consequence of your own actions and your own behaviors on the internet. And that as a whole is protected by the First Amendment, freedom of speech, if you're in the US. Freedom of speech is the right to speak, write, and share ideas and opinions without facing punishment from the government. The First Amendment protects this right by prohibiting Congress from making laws that would curtail freedom of speech. Even though freedom of speech is protected from infringement by the government is still free to restrict people in certain circumstances. For instance, obscenities, being crazy, misinformation. And also, important thing to keep in mind too is when it comes to freedom of speech, you can go out on the street corner, you can go out in the town square, you can start screaming stuff. And as long as obviously like it's not threats or anything illegal and it's just your opinions, then yeah, it's freedom of speech. That is what freedom of speech is supposed to protect, is your opinions, your ideas, not threats, not not obscenities, not craziness, because at that point, you're just disturbing the peace. And that is if you are in a public space. People seem to think that these online platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, are the internet's version of a town square. However, that is a corporation. They have their own guidelines and rules, and you have to abide by those. So those companies taking down your post, if it violates one of their rules, their terms and service, anything like that, that's not them infringing on your freedom of speech. That's them doing what they want to do because it is their platform, not yours. Another thing is, of course, defamation, like we already talked about. If you are defaming someone on the internet, just outright lying about them, yes, you absolutely, someone can have that taken down. Who you're talking about has the right to have that taken down and pursue you legally. Absolutely. Now let's talk about reporting processes. Again, this is all my own opinion and my understanding of all these situations, but I do believe that Janet has been taking advantage of the faulty and spooky reporting systems, especially on TikTok and on Instagram, and how automated they truly are, and using that to her advantage to have content that reflects poorly on her clients taken down. Ultimately, having, in my opinion, those creators silenced, which is awful, and in my opinion, so dangerous. On Instagram and TikTok, if you report posts from a certain account, like do mass reporting basically of an account within a short period of time, their system will go ahead typically and flag that and just take down the account until they can figure out what's going on and figure out if there is validity to whatever is being reported. Unfortunately, them figuring it out in the meantime can sometimes take weeks. And that is what has happened to multiple creators that Jeanette has submitted copyright claims and copyright strikes and reported through these automated systems. When you are a content creator, when this is your livelihood, having your account taken down for a week, 2 weeks, anything like that, that can be detrimental to you. If you can't post, but especially if you have contracts, if you have, loss of income because you're not getting those views and that engagement, that can be detrimental to content creators. This profession, as a full-time content creator myself on YouTube though, it is hardly sustainable and honestly not that attainable either, as we know. But if I stopped posting for a week, my monthly income would be a lot lower. Prior to having a baby, I was posting 3, sometimes 4 times a week. And then now I'm posting maybe 2 times a week. And my income has gone down a good bit, but it's because I'm posting less. So imagine if I couldn't post at all, that would not be good. So if these reports were valid, okay. But in my opinion, they're not. And in the opinion of the Fair Use Act as well, they're not valid. So having those taken down and then also having that loss of income aspect for creators, that really just makes it completely understandable why these people many times will just completely be silenced and stop talking and stop speaking out about these clients of Janet's because it's such a hassle and they don't want to have to deal with it again. Again, that's why I'm not having a sponsor on this video, because if it's taken down, which most likely it will be, within the first week, probably, I'm not going to guarantee you, but there's a huge chance that she's going to have this video taken down, or at least try to. And yes, I will fight it as much as I can. But if it is taken down, then if I did have a sponsor on this video, then that would breach the contract or break the contract, violate it, whatever that I would have with that sponsor. So just to make it easy, not doing that. So mostly all reporting systems on social media are pretty flawed, let's be honest, and automated, but let's focus on YouTube because more recently, Janet has just gone off the deep end with trying to have entire channels taken down and demonetized, and her reasoning is not valid at all. It's truly wild. So with the reporting systems in our back office, our YouTube studio, which is the creator's back end of YouTube, there is a little like copyright section, and it basically goes through the entirety of YouTube, and if it notices that a part of your video or whatever has been used in someone else's content, then you can either, request to have it taken down if it does not fall under fair use. And then also, let's say if someone is like using a song of yours or something like that, you can do a copyright claim. There's a difference between a claim and a strike. A claim means that you would, the creator, it happens to me all the time because, sometimes I'll use copyrighted music. If I can't have it like taken out or something like that of the reels or whatever I'm reacting to, then I'll just leave it and it's fine. And I'll like make sure I have a sponsor on that video so I'm not losing out on income, but that's what will happen. The copyright owner, again, it's usually automated, will flag that it is in that video and they will do a copyright claim. Nothing happens to my channel. It's just with that video. It means that I can't monetize it. And sometimes they will get all the money from that video, which stinks. So that is why a lot of times I will take out the music altogether, or I will have my amazing editor, Ethan, put clown music or something like that. Now, there is a way on YouTube now, there is a music library where you can go in and buy the licenses to certain music. And I've done it a good bit. I've paid for certain ones and I have those saved. So now I can use those on my videos and that's fine. Then I don't have to share the revenue and they can't do like a copyright claim because I purchased a license for that video. And then there's copyright strikes. A strike is pretty drastic. And if you get 3 strikes that are valid and that haven't been appealed and, removed, then your entire channel is terminated and you are gone from the interwebs, which is awful. So Janet seems to just skip right past claims and goes right in for the strikes. Abusing these types of systems purely to silence people is extremely unethical, especially when the reasoning is not valid whatsoever. I'm not sure how the individuals that she represents aren't completely mortified by her actions and her behavior, but then again, when it comes to her client list, we're not really dealing with the upper echelon of ethics and morals here. Now that you have been taken to school and you have a good understanding, hopefully, of all of these things, let's go ahead and get into the web of connections. So there have been a lot of creators who have had run-ins with Janet and her client list, and the iceberg goes pretty deep, it seems. So let's take out the red string and the corkboard and let's get into this, because I really need you to understand this chaotic web. I had a lot of questions and this graphic really helped me. It seems like Jeanette was put on most people's radar due to Lauren the Mortician. So let's go ahead and start there. Lauren the Mortician is a TikTok creator who was a small town mortician for, it seems, a short amount of time. And it seems that Lauren is really on a campaign, in my opinion, to ruin her own internet career. And I personally think she's doing a great job of it. In all seriousness though, Lauren does videos reviewing like child safety things. And she also used to do story times too of like crazy stories from her job that a lot of people were questioning the validity of, because they're like, how do you have so many stories and you were only a mortician for like a few years? Your timeline's not adding up and it's also in a small town, like doesn't really make sense. Also, you're a mortician, you wouldn't be on the scene. You're not a coroner, what are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. Girl, you at the funeral home. So we're not here to talk about that specific instance though. However, I wanted to mention it because it's just strange and I don't get it. Lauren was reviewing a swivel car seat base that in the back of your car, it swivels and makes it so much easier to get your kid out of your back seat. That is the only time you should have it swivel. You should not have it swivel any other time. For the love of God, please. Now, she was saying it comes unlocked all the time and it's not safe. And, you know, if you get in a car accident, your kid's just going to be spinning around. Now, I'm not a child safety expert. Neither is Lauren. But you know who is? Jamie Grayson.
Her opinion on car seats and what dictates if a seat is safe or not, along with anyone else. If you do not work in this space, it does not matter. All car seats that are legal and regulated that are on the market are safe when used correctly.
Jamie Grayson is a TikTok creator who is a certified CPST. Now that stands for Child Passenger Safety Technician. And he makes content reviewing these products and educational content about them as well. This is his job, and it has been for quite a long time. Jamie is quite literally a child safety expert. Now, people from Jamie's audience were commenting on Lauren the Mortician's video where she was saying that car seat swivel base is not safe. And seeing her content, Jamie decided to make a video in response to it, basically debunking what she was saying and saying, kind of calling her out on her misinformation. Now, Lauren, it seems, was not too happy about him posting that, and it created quite an uproar. So she posted on Facebook regarding the situation and Jamie, honest Q, would you take baby product advice from a man who has no children, has 12 to 15 strollers inside their living room, also attempts to give baby wearing / baby carrier product recommendations, car seat recs, and high chair recommendations to actual mothers? You know, just wondering, hypothetically and all, because I sure as F wouldn't. Especially when they link all these products conveniently in their bio for you to purchase so they make commissions and gain financially from that, never having used the product with a physical baby on a day-to-day basis. Nah, me neither, just checking. And then she went on further to say, there are definitely men and women product testers, but what baby stores are you going to where men are selling you baby products like that? I walk into Target, Walmart, Kohl's, and it's self-serve. Those employees give 0 Fs if I buy a product or not. Now, this was not super well received. There were a good amount of comments disagreeing with her, thankfully. And then show the comments again. Yes, I would if that man had the proper training, experience, and expertise. Last time I checked, he does. Take a seat. Of course I would. Jamie has been in the industry for decades and knows his stuff. He's qualified to talk about car seat safety. It's his job. And of course, he should be paid for it. He gives so much to people for free and is a good person. You need to step down from this. Another person said, I don't ask my child's pediatrician if they have kids, only if they've been to medical school. So yeah, if a man with no children is an actual literal expert in the field, I would take his advice. Now, I'm not going to show these next comments because they were gross, but you can go look for yourself. There were a good amount of comments on there that were pretty homophobic and borderline homophobic, and it's just really sad to see that, especially in this day and age. But even further than that, Lauren herself has said that she identifies and is a bisexual woman. You can have your own views, you can do whatever you want, but when you are a part of the Alphabet Mafia, we got to protect each other. Let's get 2 things straight and 1 thing gay, Lauren. By saying that it's weird that he has this many strollers in his house and that he doesn't have kids, you know he's a child safety expert. Why didn't you put that in there? In my opinion, are you trying to paint this picture that he's some type of creep? Why in 2023, 2024, are you trying to, in my opinion, paint a gay man as a predator against kids? What are you doing? As one of my favorite podcasters, Skinny But Not Fat, has on her merch, you can be a mom and still be a dumb bitch. And I think Lauren's a great example of that because, yes, we're going to trust a expert over you. You were a mortician. If I want to know about embalming, sure, I'll ask you, but not about car seats. Stay in your lane. What are you doing? I'm a mom. I use my car seat in our car seat base every day. We take it out and put it in another car because we only got one we need to get to. But like, just because I use it every day doesn't mean that I know more than Jamie. I don't know more than Jamie. I will FaceTime him right now and have him give me a tutorial on something. I need to do that. Anyways, my point is, as a bisexual woman, I'm going like this because I am as well. But in my opinion, I think that her as a bisexual woman should be completely ashamed of herself for alluding to potentially, in my opinion, that he's creepy as him being a gay man in this day and age. Just as a human in general, she should be ashamed of herself too. Take sexuality out of it. You should be ashamed of yourself. There's no evidence of that. He's a great human. You're wrong and it's gross, in my opinion. nasty. Now, Jamie spoke out about this multiple times. He actually had his TikTok account reported so many times for copyright, for other things, allegedly by Jeanette, so many times that his TikTok account was removed and all those videos were removed. His TikTok was banned for a few days, and thankfully, he was able to get it back up. But again, this is his job. He does great work. The work and the content that he posts is very beneficial. And imagine attempting to justify having that content taken down just because you don't like what they're saying. That makes no sense.
Hello, my name is Jamie Grayson. I am a child passenger safety technician, dual certified in the United States and in Canada, and have been working in the baby gear industry nearly 20 years. I made a video 3 months back responding to a comment on TikTok on one of my car seat videos where someone was tagging Lauren the Mortician, who is one of Jeanette's clients, saying that Lauren is not a CPST. She is not qualified to give out car seat information on this level until she goes through the process, which at that time she was planning to do. And I even said in the video, which I still have, that she would be a great resource because she has a large platform and she seems to be very intelligent and she cares about this. And I was blocked 10 minutes later. It escalated for a couple days. I completely was over it. But then she went on the Dumb Blonde podcast that Bunnie hosts. Bunnie is another one of Jeanette's clients, and did a podcast interview where for 5 to 10 minutes, they just basically made fun of me, made some pretty homophobic comments, said that I'm not qualified to do my job because I do not have children. And then she doubled down on her Facebook page, and that post is also still up, and there are over 4,000 comments coming to my defense because I have been doing this a very long time, working for several major outlets and publications, and have been on a lot of TV shows doing my job. I do speaking events all over the place globally. That escalated, and now Jeanette Braun, or Janet as we like to call her, has filed copyright strikes against some of my videos on TikTok, which absolutely fall under fair use because I was commenting and critiquing things. My TikTok account as of yesterday, December 11th, has been banned, and I am working on getting this back. I was the largest or like the highest followed CPST on the platform, and I really enjoyed using it and like helping people with car seat questions. It's my job. I love this. Outlet is gone. That resource for parents to get free car seat safety information is gone, all because this attorney's clients could not handle criticism of their information or lack thereof.
Now, from this entire situation, TikTok, there was just an uproar. So from that, a lot of people were getting Lauren the Mortician and another content creator, Caffinated Kitti, confused. Because Caffinated Kitti and Lauren the Mortician, both, sometimes people will refer to them as like the Beetlejuice lady. You know, they're both spooky, stuff like that. Just Kitty's way cooler, in my opinion. I mean, that's kind of a fact, but in my opinion. So Kitty was basically clarifying and being like, we're not the same person. Like, that's not me. I'm not her. And she ate me. Posted a few things saying we are not the same person at all. And since all of this had been happening, from the Jamie situation to Caffinated Kitti, a lot of people had dug about and seen that Lauren, the Mortician, had liked and followed a lot of, I don't even want to say like Republican because it goes further than that. It's like alt-right and pretty homophobic, transphobic type of rhetoric and stuff like that, and like had engaged with a good bit of it as well. And what she had said is that she sometimes just like doom scrolls and like likes anything. Listen, I get like your thumb slipping, but not that much. And then Kitty came out with this TikTok.
The Mortician is a turf. I have receipts, I have deets, and you should just go ahead and take a seat. People noticed that she was on her Instagram following a bunch of red-adjacent folk, but in particular one that basically is a gay man's Tucker Carlson. And not only was she following him, but she was actively liking incredibly transphobic and hateful rhetoric and content. As you can see here, I decided to make a fun and helpful little list of all of the different videos I caught her liking. The bottom half of the list includes It's Giving Red Pill era girly, where she was liking other things that sounded very conspiracy theory and very America First and very I voted for Trump. But she just said she was bisexual herself, and of course she supports LGBTQ and women's rights. Yes, very interesting wording in that little acknowledgement of the rumors video. One, not acknowledging the actual question being asked, which was what she found so likable about incredibly transphobic content. But two, trying to divert the attention by saying she is just pro-LGBTQ and bisexual, as if that is some kind of hall pass that prevents her from being prejudiced.
So from that situation, apparently someone sent Lauren an email that was basically saying, like, I'm in this community that you are allegedly not a fan of, that you're against, and I'm really disappointed in that, especially since a lot of your fans are LGBTQ plus. And so they were saying things like that. I have read through the email. Nowhere in that is it accusatory, threatening, blackmailing, anything like that, in my opinion. Of course, when you're reading through, text, emails, things like that, you can infer tone. And so sometimes that can get a little mixed up. But a lot of times that's just the person who is reading it and interpreting it that way. That's just them projecting. I've been guilty of that too. Lauren saying that this email was like blackmailing was, in my opinion, wrong. I don't think that's what it was at all. So I think it was just passionate and someone saying, I'm very disappointed in you. And if you don't come out and talk about this, more people are going to dig up other things about you, which, yes, that's how the internet works. So I think it wasn't a threat. It was more of a warning kind of, and you need to take accountability, blah, 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 right? You need to put on your white sweatshirt, sit in a white room, do a YouTuber apology video. So from that email, the person that sent it, keep in mind, they just sent one email. They didn't make a threat that they were going to make a video. They didn't say anything like that or warn her that they were going to make a video. So from that, they received an email back from Janet, if you will. Jeanette had also copied someone else on it too and put the person's, information, their private information, and threatened them with jail time, technically if it's over a year, it's prison. So prison time, saying that they needed to make a public apology and apology to Lauren as well for sending this email. They sent an email. They did not threaten her, in my opinion. They did not do any of that. And jail time? For what? An email? That's not, no. Civil matters, it's not jail time. Blackmail and stalking and harassment, I understand, that's criminal, but what are you doing? Truly insane. Again, in my opinion, these are just scare tactics because the legal jargon, legalese, that Jeanette uses and the threats and all that, if you don't know your rights, and unfortunately a lot of people don't, that's why I took you to school in the beginning of this video and it was long, but we're doing what we've got to do. A lot of people don't understand these things. A lot of people, you make a comment about them, do you understand how many times I include someone in a reaction video, a public figure, they present themselves as a public figure, and they comment and they're like, you'll be hearing from my legal team. I'm like, great, babe, send them over. Cool. Here's my email. What are you going to do? Nothing. I know my rights. It's just a tactic. It's just a threat, along with all these cease and desist and things like that. It's just a legal threat. But to try to scare someone into silence and threaten them like this, that's not okay. It's disgusting. It's gross. And it's unethical and, in my opinion, unlawful. So the legal threats and things like that didn't stop there. So because Kitti, kind of kept talking about this, and rightfully so, she's allowed to, the cops showed up at Kitti's house, saying that someone had called to request a wellness check on her. Now, when you request a wellness check, it's because, you're worried about someone, you're worried about their safety, and you give reasons why. Typically, they'll ask, do they have any weapons in the house, things like that, any reason they'd have, PTSD, any, service background, things like that. So people will do it on, their grandparents if they haven't heard from them in a few days, and maybe they live in a different area. That's, I'd say, kind of normal. My husband's in law enforcement. He, does wellness checks quite often. However, to weaponize a wellness check or, call the police on someone for being on Reddit, not okay at all. A waste of law enforcement's time. Absolutely. 100% a waste of their time. And that's embarrassing for you. Kitti had come out and said, yeah, they called a wellness check on me. And some people have said they swatted her house. No, they didn't. There's a difference there between a wellness check. Still unethical and not right and not valid, but still, they did that. So Lauren the Mortician was like, I didn't do that. What are you talking about? I did not do that. Then Kitti released the phone calls, the recordings to the police. So we're going to go ahead and listen to that now because it is so ridiculous. And having multiple people in like our circle and our family, our friends who are dispatchers, which that's who they're talking to the dispatcher, you can just tell. Like in the lady's voice, she's just like, you've got to be kidding me. This is such a waste of time. When she's like, do you know this person? Like, what are you doing? But of course they can't just like not send someone, you know? So let's go ahead and listen to that right now. And also please enjoy Kitty's beautiful artwork that she put up there too.
Hello, my name is Jeanette Braun. I'm an attorney, a federal attorney out of Illinois, and I'm actually calling in a wellness check for... She's acting irrational and posting really wild things online. It really looks like she's having a mental crisis and needs some help. I'm wondering if you would go do a wellness check on her and make sure she hasn't harmed herself, or
I need an address.
Do something more. Sure, the address is... I have it. Coming now. I have to pull it up.
And what's her name?
Her name is...
Is she black, white, or Hispanic?
White with short...
Do you have a date of birth on her?
It is February... She's 12 years old. It's February... I don't know the date. Whatever is a good one. 19.
And what exactly is she posting?
She is posting on her TikTok under Caffinated Kitti, CAFFINATED KITTI, and her Reddit account.
I just need to know what she's posting. I don't need the usernames.
She's blackmailing people. She is going, she's extremely irrational, posting content to threaten others. Looks like almost extortion. I received an email from her on Saturday that was full of blackmail and extortion, and I'm going to submit that to the FBI, but now she's posting online, and she really seems to be having a mental crisis.
Is this a relative of yours, or?
No, not a relative.
What's your name?
Jeanette, Jeanette, and my last name is Braun, Braun, and I'm an Illinois barred attorney. I think I have an obligation to report when I see erratic behavior as an officer of the court, and this is extremely erratic.
All right, we'll get someone out there to check on her.
Let me get you her apartment number. I have it. I gotta pull it up. I don't have the apartment number. She's on the floor. She was born in February.
Okay.
But she's on the floor of the apartment building. Short purple hair, thin, white, and I think she really needs some help.
All right, we'll get someone out there to check on her.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good Sunday.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Police and fire.
Hi, I was calling. I was calling to ask for a wellness check on someone.
Okay, what's the address?
It is.
And what's your name?
I'd like to remain anonymous if I could. I know that's awkward, but this girl is just spiraling.
Okay, you're gonna have to give me something. What's the relationship?
So she has a presence online, and she is blackmailing people online. She is threatening people. She's on Reddit. She's on TikTok. She's acting erratically. Her comments online are wild. I think this girl is literally. Her name is.
Do you have her date of birth?
I don't, but I know she was born in February. I don't know the day.
Okay, and what has she been doing online?
She is leaving comments, threatening people, blackmailing people. She's on Reddit, trying to gather people together to go after people. She's
are these
just
people
acting.
You or someone you know?
No. Somebody I know online.
Okay.
Yeah, she's acting irrational, erratic, and honestly, I just wonder if her mental health is okay, like, so she isn't going to harm herself or other people, because this...
Did she mention anything about harming herself?
No.
Okay.
But at this, I mean, this is just not like her normal stuff at all to be posting.
So you actually know her?
From online.
Okay, but you don't know her personally, you just know her online.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And you don't want to leave your name?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So due to this entire situation as well, and the, reporting, the invalid reporting, let's not call it false reporting because Janet doesn't like when we call it that. Let's call it invalid reporting because in my opinion, it's completely invalid. Now, because of all of those on Facebook, Meta, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that, it seems as though they also weaponized that reporting system and took aim at Kitty's pretty large Facebook, like fan account, creator account, whatever that she had on there. And now she has to use a different one. And she had posted those same reels, TikToks to Facebook, and they did copyright claims on Facebook or copyright strikes on Facebook as well. And this is the email that she was sent from Facebook. And it says, "Hi, as a user of Facebook, you have agreed to our terms of service, which states that users are prohibited from taking any action on Facebook that infringes or violates someone else's rights or otherwise violates the law. When we receive a proper claim of intellectual property rights infringement, we promptly remove or disable access to the alleged infringing post. We also terminate the accounts of repeat infringers in appropriate circumstances." So that would mean if she hadn't received any claims or strikes before this, that they repeatedly did it, to try to get it taken down. And unfortunately, it seems like they have had success with that method and that they are just going to keep doing it.
The first thing Jeanette Braun did that affected me personally was certainly her coordinated copyright attack on one of my platforms. She did make an attempt on Instagram as well, but the attack on my Facebook took it down despite the fact I had a 30K monetized platform that I now cannot access and I'm permanently locked out of, that was tied to a personal account of mine that's existed since 2012 that's also gone. So, all of those memories, all of those fun things are gone as well, and there is really very little hope to get it back. So that was the first effect, for sure. To be honest, that's the only thing that was a true effect that was truly, long-lasting of Jeanette's, because everything else she attempted to do was a critical fail, a solid nat 1 on that roll for intimidation, because calling in a police wellness check to tell me I know who you are and where you live, and I'm willing to weaponize the police and attempt to either A, get you carted away to a funny farm for a few days, which could impact your livelihood, your job, your social standing, cause you inconvenience or mental trauma, B, just get you inconvenienced by the police and potentially paint you in a negative light should things go to a court of law for if the police side on any way on our side and say that there was potentially anything that you were doing that was mentally unstable, that would give us any form of grounds to make that type of case. Or C, just make you feel intimidated that we know who you are and where you live and we're willing to do this type of thing and we could potentially give your information to other people who might do something worse. That wasn't a great attempt, to be honest. All that did was embolden me. It was like giving me a megaphone for the whistle I was about to blow. Her next attempt to affect me was once again a critical fail roll of a 1, because that cease and desist letter she sent me that CC'd my mommy and had all forms of legal word vomit dropped in it as if it was candy in an attempt to once again intimidate you into thinking that you are going to either be facing a lengthy and costly legal battle in which you're going to have to get a lawyer and deal with this whole thing, which is a very privileged point of view in my experience, because not everyone can afford a lawyer, and most lawyers would have looked at that and laughed. Like, what? Why are you going to get taken to court for 2 videos? 2 videos, and she's going to try to drag you to court? Okay. You're going to have to be looking at either that kind of a long, drawn-out legal ordeal, or again, she's trying to threaten you and your lack of legal knowledge with things such as jail time if you don't give a public apology to her client right away. And there's no room for any form of association or questions. Yeah, that attempt was also just a critical fail. I know a bunch of intimidation tactics when I see them, and honestly, that just gave me more laughing fodder for how ridiculous this woman was. But honestly, you want to know the real way that Jeanette Braun and Lauren the Mortician have affected me personally? They've actually shown me that people who have no clue who I am, who never followed me, who never will follow me, my own followers, my mutuals, people across platforms, seeing this situation for what it is and being so supportive and truly empathetic. I've seen messages talking about how people are just hoping I'm safe, that I'm okay, that they're genuinely concerned for me. To them, I want to say, of all the people who could have had a wellness check sent on them, I was probably the best person. I'm fine. But still, that kind of level of genuine human connection and worry for another person because of this type of horrific of a situation to be occurring. And then people have also been reaching out to help support me with the legal fees to make sure that I am legally protected and can afford my wonderful, amazing, beautiful attorney who can protect me from retaliatory litigation in case that happens from this whistleblow of a situation. All of like the community coming around and being like, this was horrific, this should not have happened, this cannot be what people do, to send and weaponize wellness checks, to weaponize copyright, to silence criticism. That has all been so genuinely fascinating and very encouraging to see. So that would be how they also have affected me.
Now, someone on TikTok, one of my mutuals on there who I absolutely love is Bekah. Now, she is, I would say, an investigative commentator. She does a lot of deep dives, multi-part deep dives. She is absolutely very well researched and well spoken. I like her a lot. I consider us colleagues. And work friends. She's great. Now, Bekah is, like I said, Bekah mainly on TikTok. She does have an Instagram and stuff like that too, but she is mainly on TikTok. She had been covering this topic, and of course, as a commentator does, when you are doing a deep dive or really just any type of content, you want to give context. You want people to know who you're talking about. So you will pop up someone's picture, someone's Instagram profile, their account, so that people know who you're referring to. Well, Bekah, of course, does that as well, as most of us do. And she had covered this crazy situation from Lauren the Mortician and Jamie, and then Lauren the Mortician and Caffinated Kitti, and so on and so forth. So she had gone over all of that, and she had even included aspects about Jeanette Braun as well. Well, Bekah was reported for copyright infringement multiple times, even though her content, as well as mine and other commentators too, falls under fair use, as she is reporting on something and explaining a situation, giving commentary on it, and criticism maybe too, but typically it's just commentary with her. She's more professional than I am, let's be honest. And Bekah has also had legal action threatened against her as well. Now, as far as I know, I think that Bekah's account is safe right now. She might have had the strikes or claims, whatever you call them on TikTok. She might have had those appealed, but I do know that at one point she had 2 strikes and she was about to get a 3rd. And so her account was at risk. And so unfortunately, because of how TikTok is, a lot of times it's just easier to move on and not talk about it anymore, which is unfortunate.
So I am a content creator, and I created a series going over this Lauren the Mortician situation and the rogue attorney, Jeanette Braun. Ever since I've started speaking up about it, I have gotten 2 false copyright strikes, putting my account in jeopardy simply for whistleblowing on a situation that is not legal and that should not be happening. And I don't find that to be okay or fair at all. And I know I lose out on substantial income from that. And a lot of creators have lost out on a good amount of income because of these false copyright strikes. And it's literally perjury, and I don't know how to explain to these people what fair use is, and the fact that they cannot silence people and infringe upon their First Amendment because they don't like people's opinions. I mean, when you think about it, it really is dangerous. What if politicians start to use this loophole? What if other terrible people start to use this loophole? What if someone speaks out against their abuser and they use this loophole? You know what I mean? It's so dangerous to say you own content so you can have it taken down. So that's why I hired an attorney, because at this point, if we cannot, as a whole, collectively, social media cannot explain to Jeanette and the copyright crew what fair use is, maybe a judge and some attorneys can.
But don't you worry, Bekah is not the only person that Jeanette has tried to silence in regards to Lauren the Mortician and her shenanigans. I put up a TikTok about, a month ago, I want to say, saying like, hey, I've entered the chat. If you have had any experience with Jeanette Braun or any of her clients, any interaction with her, please do reach out to me. Thanks. And I told a lot of people that they could stay anonymous if they wanted to, and they did want to. And oh my Lord, so many people have had copyright strikes allegedly submitted, or copyright claims, or have had their accounts reported by Janet allegedly. And it's so crazy because a lot of the ones I was seeing are super small accounts. It's like, how bored are you? It's wild, absolutely wild. So let's talk about the girlies. The girlies, none other than Jessie and Lily of the Do We Know Them podcast. We support the girlies in this household. We love them so much. A quick congratulations to them for hitting 100,000 subscribers. What better way to commemorate this moment in your podcasting career than being sued for defamation by Jeanette Braun and Lauren the Mortician? So as podcasts do, especially with Lily and Jessie, yes, they're a podcast, you know, they're on all podcast streaming platforms, whatever. But I feel like most people watch them on YouTube just because, you know, you get to see all the assets, and just seeing their reactions are just, it's hilarious. So it's basically a show. It's a podcast show. You know, like most of them are these days, they have that video aspect. So Jessie and Lily are basically a commentary podcast channel. And Jessie and Lily are both OG YouTubers, like back in the day. They both respectively separately on their channels that they would agree are pretty dormant, that they post once a year on at this point. They're not nobody, okay? They've been around the block. They have all the tea, right? So Jessie and Lily started the Do We Know Them podcast about like a year and a half ago. They cover internet shenanigans, and a lot of times they have reoccurring characters. They give updates on stuff. They'll do like obscure deep dives on like weird corners of the internet, and it's hilarious, super fun. They're great. They're not journalists. They don't claim to be. They'll make corrections and updates. They know their rights. They are going to use protective language. They're going to roast somebody. They're going to take you to the library and do some reading, if you will. But they're not defaming anyone. They're not doing anything illegal. They both are very well versed in commentary and being on YouTube in general. They know what they can and can't do, is what I'm saying. And they're just the best, and we love them. Please do subscribe to them. Subscribe to all of the people who have been just harassed by this ridiculous woman. So like I said, they have been covering it for quite a while, honestly. And they had even said in their videos multiple times, like, wow, I'm surprised we haven't gotten a copyright strike. Wow, I'm surprised we haven't gotten sued by Lauren the Mortician, or that we haven't received any correspondence from Janet. And they basically started the Janet thing, calling her by the wrong name. A lot of us do that. I know I do that on my channel all the time. When I find someone annoying, I'll just call them a random white lady name. Okay, Mary. Okay, Janet. Okay, Patrice. You know, it's just fun. And it's arguably hilarious. You know what it isn't? Defamation. So like I said, Lily and Jessie had been covering this, giving updates and, you know, the whole clickbait titles of this situation just got way worse, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes topics, when you update, it can get to the point of like, okay, we need to stop talking about this, or like we need to move on. But like I said before, when you are trying to silence certain creators and they're genuinely doing nothing wrong and your claims are completely invalid, in my opinion, like I said before, with commentary channels, I mean, we won't shut up about it. We're gonna, like, we know it's wrong. We're gonna keep going about it. And Jessie and Lily are very much like me in that way as well, or I am like them in that way. So Jessie really spoke too soon when she said that they hadn't received any correspondence from Jeanette, because probably like a day later, they received copyright claim after copyright claim after, not copyright claim, copyright strike after copyright strike on their channel. And we kept getting updates on their community tab saying they're one strike away. And I was texting with them, and it was the girlies were nervous, and rightfully so, because a lot of times if you don't keep fighting and fighting and fighting it with YouTube and try to get someone's attention, an actual person, I don't doubt that she could have gotten their entire channel taken down. Allegedly, there was a little mix-up. They came back to Jeanette and were like, no, this is invalid. Like, this falls under fair use. And then apparently she's tried to strike it again, just like a different timestamp or something. And then they let it go through, which is silly because it does fall under fair use. And then she did it again. And so those videos got taken down. Unfortunately, they are back up now. Thank God. And then a few days later, after I assume they had someone from the legal department actually manually review everything, they, of course, realized, oh no, this absolutely falls under fair use. So what happens when you are doing that and you're going back and forth, and she is someone's legal representative, she's going back and forth with YouTube, and YouTube actually sends all of that to the person that all of this is against, meaning Jessie and Lily. So they received all of that, and Jeanette tried to fight with YouTube about it and say that they were wrong and that they were not allowed to decide if something is copyright infringement and that the courts have to decide. And those are the only ones who can decide that it is that. However, Janet's going all over YouTube and all that, saying that content creators are stealing her clients' art and stealing their content and infringing on their rights, which is obviously false. So she went a little bit unhinged and tried to give an example that them trying to say that the copyright strike was not valid is like murder. This woman is Looney Tunes.
Only judiciaries can determine if it is fair use, much like claiming self-defense in a murder case. And she was too. She was dead ass. She was so serious.
The defendant and the plaintiff are arguing that it is or is not fair use. So Jeanette did the copyright strikes. YouTube came back and was like, Jessie and Lily came back and were like, no, it's not. Please appeal this. And then Jeanette, in this case, either has to drop it or take them to court. And that's exactly what she's trying to do. So they're going to court. The girlies will be in a courtroom. They've been assigned a judge. And that's not where it ends, though, because now Jeanette and Lauren the Mortician jointly are suing Bekah, Lily and Jessie and Kitti for defamation. And then she tried to tack on a bunch of other things as well. Now, one thing that's insane to me is, one, that she's doing this, Jeanette. And then two, I could not wrap my head around if she thinks she's wrong. Like if she knows that she's wrong, but she's just trying to do this to waste their time. She thinks that she's trying to do this to waste their time. But I think this is a little bit more, let's say, dangerous for lack of a better word, because she has that air about her that she always thinks she's right. And then from what I've seen, it seems like her reaction to things is crazy. Like, not like quirky, fun, crazy, completely unhinged. And that's why I keep calling her unhinged, because her reaction to YouTube being like, nope, this is not, you're wrong, basically. This is not copyright infringement. This is protected under fair use. Her response being like, this is the like same thing as you, or the courts, like something about murder and self-defense. It's like, what are you talking about? Maybe your girl's got to take a little bit of Seroquel. I don't know. No judgment. Seroquel saved my life. Not on it anymore, but I'd be able to sleep if I was on it. But yeah, so she's Looney Tunes. But I do believe, it is my opinion, that she like absolutely thinks that she's right, is because she has this lawsuit, these documents, and a press release linked in her TikTok bio. This lady, I wish I had this much confidence. This lady's crazy, in my opinion. She put up this lawsuit, and so let's go ahead and go over this, shall we? So it basically shows a timeline, kind of. In a statement, Attorney Braun said, in my professional journey, I've encountered numerous content creators damaged by the very issues addressed in the complaint. Operating in the social media space is a challenging terrain. For you, maybe crazy? This question needs to be answered. Why does the public turn to destruction and harm when exposed to a one-sided narrative? It's not a one-sided narrative, and what the public does is not anyone else's fault. Sometimes. Some creators intentionally post content to incite a collective anger that they know will manifest into an angry mob who become destructive without ever knowing the facts. Okay, so she's basically saying they are acting with malice and trying to destroy Lauren the Mortician's life and livelihood and all of that, and that they aren't fact checking and that they're being reckless and all that. I do find it interesting that Jeanette is a plaintiff. She's not the lawyer representing Lauren the Mortician, because Lauren the Mortician and her are the plaintiffs, which is just wild. One thing that I find super interesting is on page 1 here, which is actually page 3 of this document. It says the lawsuit details how defendants have engaged in reckless behavior and have abused the power of their reach, which is very interesting because I do believe that that's what Jeanette is doing, abusing her power of authority to scare people into silence. Again, that's just my opinion, with their social media platforms, which is again crazy because Lauren the Mortician has a bigger platform than any of them. It is clear that they operated and continue to operate with the intent to defame and tarnish the reputation and brands of both Attorney Braun and Lauren the Mortician. Due to these acts, Attorney Braun and Lauren the Mortician have lost business opportunities, sponsorships, and are being falsely accused of acts that they do not commit and harassed on social media by defendants and their followers. One thing that is absolutely hilarious is they're saying that the only reason that these two are being called out, canceled, whatever you want to call it, is because of the actions of Bekah, Caffinated Kitti, Lily, and Jesse. Which, yes, Kitti did call her a TERF, but if she would have just ignored it or just been like, hey, I'm not a TERF, whatever, and just left it at that. But no, you made the situation much, much worse for yourself by getting your lawyer involved, which, okay, get your lawyer involved, whatever. Doing a wellness check, then lying about it, and then continuously having your lawyer strike down other channels and attempting to allegedly, in my opinion, silence people for speaking out about you. So it's like, these are the consequences of your own actions. Your actions are the reason why people are acting the way they are towards you. You can't get mad at the news for reporting it. Get mad at yourself for doing those things and fix the problem. But instead, it seems like Lauren the Mortician has just made it a lot worse and is just doubling, tripling down regarding the situation and making it much, much worse for herself. The defendants have disseminated false and hostile statements with the purpose of disparaging and tarnishing the reputations. Opinions aren't false, it's just opinions. All of them, from what I have seen, have used protective language, in my opinion, allegedly, things like that, and haven't said anything false about them and have really just like reacted and reported on like what that said person has done. So it's just very interesting. The defendants' actions have caused them to suffer financially and for Lauren the Mortician to suffer emotionally. Janet isn't suffering emotionally. She's like, nah, I'm too strong. So then basically just goes through a timeline that we already went through. It says who the strikes are from. Like, what are you doing? I don't think they know rogue attorney. I mean, it just means you're just kind of going all over the place. Like, how are you including that in here? Most likely what they're going to do, I would assume that the first thing their attorney is going to do is file a motion to dismiss, and this is most likely going to get dismissed right away. Jeanette will probably fight that, but is most likely going to get dismissed because this is so dumb. Also, the narrative that they are, in my opinion, trying to build here, saying that like this person worked with this person worked with this person. I think what they're trying to do, again, just my opinion, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but just from my understanding and the verbiage here, is that they're trying to make it seem like it's a coordinated effort and that like these people are making like a coordinated attack against these two people and causing harm. They know what they're doing. They know they're lying. And in my opinion, they're not. Normal stuff, goes over the parties, goes over all that, jurisdiction and venue, blah, blah, blah. By the way, this is over 40 pages long, so we're just going to snip it. Okay, so they go over and list out what they are saying are defamatory statements in the background section. Defamatory statements made against plaintiff Lauren the Mortician by Caffinated Kitti. It just says that she called her a TERF, goes over like why she thought that she was a TERF, describes what a TERF is twice. One thing that I do find interesting is that they are including on here that on page 8 of the lawsuit at point 42, it even says, on or about November 21st, 2023, while settlement discussions were still going on, defendant Caffinated Kitti posted a video accusing Lauren the Mortician of using Attorney Braun to file bad faith copyright claims with social media platforms, which that is true. It falls under fair use. Like, what are you talking about? This is wild that they're considering that to be defamation. And then also under page 11, where it talks about Bekah Day, it says that defendant Day is a social media content creator known as Bekah Day, who holds herself out to be an unbiased content creator and an independent investigative reporter. And it says, upon information and belief, defendant Day has no professional training or degree in journalism. You don't have to have that to be able to comment on things. It's called the First Amendment. Also, you don't have to have a degree in journalism to be a commentary person or to report. Like, what are y'all talking about? This is wild. Janet, you don't have to have a degree to be a dumb bitch, but here you are. Upon further information and belief, the below screenshot is an accurate copy of defendant's LinkedIn profile. What? What does that have to do with anything? Like, so strange. And then it says that she creates content that disparages public figures and other celebrities that she monetizes for income on TikTok. She does deep dive videos. That's what she does. And if something is a fact, it's not that person's fault if it disparages someone else. That's the consequence of their actions. That's not defamation. So as you can tell, this is just completely frivolous in my opinion. This is absolutely wild, so wild, just absolutely so crazy. There are parts of it that are really funny under the defamatory statements made by defendants Jesse and Lily. So let's talk about that real quick. The Do We Know Them podcast is an online weekly video podcast that is also disseminated through various audio platforms where defendant Jesse and Lily promote online controversies, rumors, and celebrity gossip, all of which are monetized. It doesn't matter if it's monetized, lady. It really doesn't. You know what else is monetized? The news. The news is monetized. Upon further belief, neither Jesse or Lily have any professional training as a news reporter, journalist, or any degrees in those industries or related ones. It's 2024, that's irrelevant. That doesn't matter. Upon information and belief, Jesse and Lily did not conduct any investigation that involved fact-checking or reaching out to knowledgeable parties to verify the information in her posts. As you just said, they're not journalists, so it doesn't matter. They've also never said that they're journalists. They've also never said that they're reporters. They've also never claimed that anything they say is right. They're just on the internet exercising their First Amendment right, and they can share their opinions. Jesse and Lily did not contact the plaintiffs to verify information in their posts prior to publishing them. They don't have to. And personally, one of my favorite things here, it says on page 18, item 85, in these videos, Jesse and Lily mocked Attorney Braun by mispronouncing her name Janet instead of Jeanette, which is also not defamation. I have been keeping my husband up to date on this topic because who else am I going to talk to? My baby? I talk to him too. He knows all this. I was explaining it to him and I was like, yeah, and in there it says like under defamation, like examples of it, that they called her Janet instead of Jeanette. And he was just like, what? Like that makes no sense. And I'm like, I know, exactly. And then line 86 says that they identified Attorney Braun by her full name and expressly noted that they intentionally mispronounce it because it was fun, but they were still referring to Attorney Braun. Someone calling you by the wrong name or a nickname that they've created for you, which is Janet, is not defamation. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's defamation. And then again, it says in these videos, Do We Know Them podcast stated that reputable and well-known content creators hire Braun to represent them and take down videos that use their likeness or photographs without their permission. Yes. Your own, like, girl, get your own clients under wraps because they have even said that themselves. Without discussing the full context of any specific post or takedown, defendant Marston stated that Attorney Braun's practices were unethical. Listen, I'm all about giving full context, knowing the ins and outs of a situation before being able to actually give a well-constructed response to it. However, in regards to this, what they are saying is that silencing people and taking advantage of the faulty reporting systems across social media platforms to have content taken down that does fall under fair use. However, you just don't like what people are saying and that's why you're trying to have it taken down, which the creators themselves have even said, that's disgusting, and that's not okay.
Janet takes down things that are either embarrassing to a creator or negative about a creator.
She basically goes to like allegedly unethical lengths talking about a piece of work and not just copying it. They're furthering the conversation. They're having a discussion about it, which is what we are doing. That is allowed under fair use. And it might be commercial, but that doesn't matter. And it says in the fair use doctrine that being commercial does not play a factor at the end of the day when determining whether it's fair use or not. So the fact that we are making money off of our video doesn't matter.
But Janet still quotes the old verbiage of it. So she makes it seem like if you're making money off of it, then I have every right to take it down.
Well, because she acts like we are making money because of her content. Like no one was watching the content for your TikTok, Janet. No one was watching your TikTok either before we started talking about it. So we actually probably helped.
Now again, like I said before, don't get me wrong. If someone is actually defaming you, they're actually lying. It's not just an opinion. It's not worded as such. They're not using any protective language. They are stating it as a fact and it is false. and it is damaging to you, then okay, have it taken down. Like, that's not okay. If they are bullying you or actually harassing you, making a video here or there, that's not bullying you. That's not, if it is actually copyright infringement, of course, have it taken down. But just because you don't like what someone is saying and they have a monetized platform, it does not mean that it is valid for you to have their content taken down. Of course, in my opinion, Janet doesn't care about that. And yes, it is fun to call her Janet. Now we're done with the Lauren the Mortician saga. But as I was looking, it all just gets so much deeper. And so I wanted to go over a few of her other clients and the shenanigans that they have gone through as well. So now let's move on to another problematic client of Jeanette's, and that is Bunnie XO. Now, Bunnie is the host of the Dumb Blonde podcast, and she is also a TikTok creator. And then her husband is Jelly Roll, and he is a gospel country singer. His voice is absolutely beautiful. He's very talented. And I have previously liked some of her content, and she just seems like a bad bitch. But hearing how she has talked about these types of situations and scaring people into silence, basically, and really using Jeanette Braun law to unfairly and unethically, in my opinion, take down other people's content when it does fall under fair use seems real shit. And I don't like that. Now, it seems like Bunnie XO is I don't want to say the root of the problem, because really the root of the problem is Jeanette and her ego, in my opinion. But it seems like she has had all of these other clients on her podcast. Gabbie Egan, Perfectly Kelsey, Lauren the Mortician. So it seems like she is work friends, colleagues, whatever with all of them. And it seems as though possibly that she was the one who referred all of them to Jeanette. And she's very much of the mindset, coming from her own mouth, that you're not going to talk about me and make a profit while using my content. But if someone is talking about you, just like you talk about other people in your podcast, it's fair use.
They get mad at us because we have taken down, and I think it's hilarious. And the reason I'll tell you that I have taken down is because, one, you're not going to bully me and talk and spread lies. And two, I love when they get upset about it.
Me too.
That is hilarious. Like, it is the highlight of my life.
Now, like I said, Perfectly Kelsey is another TikTok creator that is involved in all of this, another client of Janet and a colleague of the rest of these people, it seems, and someone who has also been on Bunnie XO's podcast too. She is someone that is pretty big on TikTok. She has 2 different TikTok accounts from what I know. There's Growing with Kelsey and then Perfectly Kelsey. I don't know, whatever. She has a family account and more of like a lifestyle account. In my opinion, she absolutely does exploit her children. And again, of course, there's a complete difference between exploiting your children for money. For instance, if you were to post content by yourself and that content doesn't do as good as the kind with your kids in it, you're probably exploiting your children. However, if you're just showing your kid, for instance, I have a 5-month-old perfect little bean baby. I am the primary parent. I need to put out content. I have to work. Sometimes it sucks, but I have to hold him in videos, or my husband has to come hand him off to me, or his godfather, or whoever. That happened in a more recent video. Or if I have to film an ad read or refilm an ad read or do something like that, then yeah, I'm probably going to be holding him, because he's definitely in the stage where he's like, no, you're going to hold me. I don't want to sit down. He wants to be held. He wants to be up high, all that. So between sharing them and exploiting them, in my opinion, Perfectly Kelsey, 1,000,000%, I think that she exploits her kids, and that she wouldn't have the following that she does without exploiting her kids. Again, difference between just sharing, and then also there's a difference between like posting about like being a mom and, you know, stuff like that. There are a lot of creators who I love that post about like becoming a mom and being a mom, and they're awesome, but it's about them becoming a mom, not about like having children and like the kid being there, you know? I don't know. Anyways, so I just thought that's interesting. And again, like I said before, we are not dealing with the upper echelon of super ethical people here, so let's keep that in mind. Now, Kelsey, a while back, was a member of what is called Queen Team, basically a collective, let's call it that, a collective, a gaggle of like tattooed, edgy, cool, hot moms on TikTok, and they would like dance together. Well, she was a member of that group, and then also, Kodye Elyse, who I'm a huge supporter of, I really like her, was also a member of that group. And there was this big falling out, and Kodye Elyse was, from my understanding of the events, was made out to be the villain, or, you know, the mean girl. And so she was like kicked out of the group, ostracized, all that. Well, a couple years later, Kodye broke her silence, started sharing what actually happened and showing proof and receipts and all that. Turns out she wasn't the bad guy. Now, because she started showing all of that, that wasn't really a good look, in my opinion, for Kelsey and the other ladies in the Queen Team. We're not regular moms. We're cool TikTok moms. And so then from the proof that has been shown, it seems as though Kelsey had her super professional lawyer, Janet, go ahead and copyright claim report through Instagram a bunch, an exhausting amount of Kodye Elyse's content, some of which wasn't even like able to, it fell under fair use, some of which wasn't even showing any of their content. But again, if you are mass reporting these types of things, Instagram will go ahead and just proactively shut down the account, ban it, whatever, terminate it, and then on the back end, weeks or months later, they will go ahead and investigate it. And you may or may not get it back up. Kodye does have children, and she is a single mom. The ex is involved. He seems like a great dad. They seem like they have a great relationship, all that. I love that type of content. And she's funny. I like her. She's my type of gal. And yes, even if you don't have kids, silencing someone and taking away their source of income for not a valid reason, when they have done nothing wrong, when they have just been speaking out, sharing their experience, and hey, if that's the truth and okay, and that doesn't make you look good, tough shit, doesn't matter. So then you taking away their source of income, especially when they're primary parent, like that sucks. And that obviously doesn't really paint Kelsey in the greatest light. Kelsey has also been involved in some other drama and things as well. It seems like she's very pro MLM. I believe her and a couple other people who were like in Queen Team were in Prove It, the Ketones MLM. Pyramid scheme, scam, it's a scam. Don't tell me otherwise. It is a scam. There are facts to prove that, and the products are BS and do not work. It's quite literally scientifically impossible for them to work. It's a pre-workout. That was all exposed. Kodye just now got her Instagram back, which is amazing. Very happy for her that she got it back. And I am happy that it seems like she is getting vindicated in this entire situation. And personally, I hope she sues the hell out of Kelsey and Janet of IP Braun IP law. And if you want a little bit more of like a recap of what happened with the Queen Team thing, let's go ahead and let this amazing TikTok creator take it away because it's just too much. So we're going to refer to this other person, follow them, whatever, go ahead and do that. This video was really helpful, so let's play that.
Like Queen Team was just this group of like TikTokers in their 30s, pretty big. They kind of went like viral in 2020. So it was Kodye Elyse, Jenna, Perfectly Kelsey, Darren Nicole, V, Jesse, and Bunnie Lee talks. I'll be discussing all of them, and there will be more people that join into the whole drama. Like a year ago, Kodye separated from the whole group. Kodye Elyse, if you want to check out their Instagrams, I'll try to post whoever I speak about. But it seems like Kelsey was probably the last one to drop Kodye because they still seem to be fine, but then out of nowhere, it seemed like they grew apart. I read somewhere that said, like, on a live, Kodye said basically that her and Kelsey had grown apart. And Kelsey didn't like that, and then it just seems like more drama came from that. And this is Kelsey's Instagram. And Kelsey is still friends with a lot of the original Queen teams, like the Jenna, V, Bunnie Lee. She calls them the Core Four. Sorry, guys, I also need to get ready because I have to go somewhere. Then it seems that Kelsey partners up with Amanda, who is ex-best friends with Kodye. She even made a TikTok about like real friendship and mentioned Amanda and Katie. So Amanda is Kodye's ex-best friend who Kodye had slept with her ex-husband. And like Kodye had a relationship with him, it seemed. And that is where a lot of the drama stemmed from because it seems like people that did not like Kodye kind of came together and basically outed her on the internet. And people then all came against Kodye, you know, like the people that were watching the videos, the public. And then it was just like more and more stuff about Kodye came out, like Kodye had vandalized Kelsey's salon or Kodye had told everyone lies and just like one thing on top of another, and they definitely made Kodye look really bad. But then I read somewhere that Amanda had cheated on her ex-husband with Kodye's ex. Like, dude, you can't, like, this is crazy. And then Brittany Jade also gets into this, and Brittany Jade has a lot of her own, like, TikTok drama, apparently, as does Kelsey, and they're best friends, apparently. They even made a TikTok that is now deleted, basically saying, like, you don't know that some friends are poisonous until they bite you, and everyone's like, oh, they're talking about Kodye.
And now let's go to the next Janet client, who is Gabbie Egan. The best way for me to describe Gabbie Egan is that she is truly a menace to the internet, in my opinion. She's a TikTok creator, quite young. She, I guess, had something to do with Teen Mom. She was someone's host the Janelle girl, the one that has the mom that talks all crazy from like the OG seasons. She was a co-host on her podcast and got like kicked off of it, I guess. And then she was arrested for, I guess, for like Bat Leo or something. And I guess she like kicked a cop in the balls. Gabbie really seems to be someone who also does not understand any legal aspect of anything on the internet, truly. And that is very evident by the videos that she posts.
So my attorney may drain the out of my bank account, but she provided me lunch today. She texted me, she's like, hey, where are you gonna be at around lunchtime? And I was like, this address, why? I thought she was about to serve me or something. Because she currently is draining the out of my bank account because I had to file for all these trademarks and stuff. Well, anyway, she's not just my attorney, she's Jacinda's attorney too. This is Jacinda. Well, she sent us all of this sushi for all of us. And now we're just eating it. So Braun, if you're seeing this, I love you. I'm so glad you're my attorney.
So one thing that I've seen that's been brought up a couple times in regards to Gabbie Egan and Jeanette Braun is that Gabbie had an assistant, an employee, if you will, who was one of her really good friends. Her name was Olivia. She's still alive. And Olivia also has a TikTok and is a small creator, and they had a falling out. Something happened. I'm not quite well versed on it because I do not want to watch any of Gabbie's content because, dear God, it's infuriating how dense this person is. But Olivia made a few TikTok videos about how her experience went working with Gabbie, basically calling her a liar, saying that she would lie about just the most trivial, strange things, and exposing her, and again, going over her experience with her, working with her. So there are people who would notice and mention that Olivia would post these videos and then they would be taken down, and then she'd have to post again, then they'd be taken down. And it seemed like her videos outing Gabbie on her crappy behavior as an ex-friend and an ex-employee were basically just disappearing constantly. So it seems as though Jeanette Braun possibly was copyright striking those and having them taken down and all that. It is just very interesting to me that these people will not want you to use any of their content, but if someone's talking about you, don't you want them to show context? Don't you want them to, show your profile so that anyone with any brain cells and a logical mind at all would be able to say, maybe I should go check that out for myself and actually go watch the content or be able to be shown what is happening and make their own opinion? No, they'd rather just silence everyone who speaks about them at all. But that's not how the internet works. Technically it is right now because Jeanette has unfortunately been successful at silencing a lot of these people. Now, one theory that I do have after watching a couple of Gabbie's clips is that Jeanette does all of these claims and strikes and reporting and sending out all these like frivolous, just doing the most for like the smallest action, doing all of that and so that she can charge the clients more, so that those billable hours are really, however she charges them, so that she's really able to just drain their bank accounts. And that's wild. Not only, in my opinion, is that unethical, but then again, after you get an invoice from her, wouldn't you just be like, okay, stop. This is ridiculous. Again, these people aren't the most moral or the smartest. So next we have a more recent incident, which is pretty crazy. Another client of Jeanette Braun is none other than Jen Gerard. Now, Jen is someone who has been involved in internet YouTube drama for as long as I can personally remember, whether it's being the subject of it, being someone who's commenting on it, or being someone who's exposing it. She has definitely been around the block. Now, Jen is the owner and CEO of Gerard Cosmetics. If you've been involved in beauty YouTube for a long time, you know what Gerard Cosmetics is. Now, Jen Gerard is someone who was quite friendly with the commentary channels, the drama channels, and when drama channels and all that first started, that was pretty rare. No one really, it seemed really wanted to talk to these people, but then I kind of feel like creators started to understand if I have a relationship with them that could benefit me, all that. So in my opinion, Jen really took that to a new level. She had always been nice to me. I don't agree with what she has done in this case at all, and it's not okay at all. I don't like that. That's not cool. Jen had two drama commentary, let's just call them commentary creators on YouTube who were more so OGs in the beauty drama creator space, Dustin Daly and Nick Snyder, the viewer's voice, if you will. She was friendly with them, became good friends with them, became closer with them after they had gone through a lot with their families They had some deaths in their families and a lot of other stuff happen. She had said, oh, why don't y'all just come visit me? Something like that. They visited for a while. I think they left and then they came back and then they ended up just moving in with her. Sometime after that, her house actually burnt down. They woke her up and saved her and her dog from a fire. Unfortunately, I believe it was Nick's cats who perished in the fire. Dustin's cats. Someone's. Very sad. Very sorry for them about that. And then they all moved into a house again. From my understanding, I could be wrong, but from my understanding, it seems like she started dating someone and Nick and Dustin got bad vibes from him, did not like him for her, were, I don't want to say protesting the relationship, but were not in support of it. And she did not appreciate that, I guess. And so they moved out, made videos about it, and so they're not friends anymore. Dustin and Nick, I believe, have both confirmed that Jeanette, yes, is her lawyer, and that Jeanette did send correspondence to them as well after they cut ties with Jen, and I believe either before or after they made a video about her. Another drama channel, an OG commentary drama tea channel, if you will, that did have a close relationship with Jen Gerard was Paige Christie. Paige Christie is, like I said, one of the original tea channels from way back in the John Cookian days, y'all. That's probably when you first watched my videos, was them John Cookian days. Oof. I obliterated him in those few videos I made. Should have started commentary then, but I was a dummy. Now, Paige became close with Jen because of Dustin and Nick. She does have a good relationship with them as well. Jen does have a product that she sells with Gerard Cosmetics called Hair AF, and it apparently regrows her hair. Mine ain't who. And Paige's aunt, who was more like a second mom to her and helped raise her, she was very close with her, went through cancer, chemo, radiation treatment, and unfortunately lost her hair to it. Now, Paige had her use that product. It worked wonders for her, apparently. Paige sent Jen before and afters, thanking her, and Jen asked, hey, can we use these? Can we use these photos? I'm thinking personally, and of course, I could be completely wrong again. I'm thinking that what Paige was thinking when Jen had asked to use those pictures, those before and afters, possibly, she might just be using them on social media, to repost them or something. That's what I would have thought. However, I know better now. But that is not really what Jen meant. Jen used those pictures basically as the prime marketing, the main marketing material for Hair AF. And Jen was even on a live stream saying to Paige that because of those pictures and because of Paige's aunt, Hair AF is as successful as it is, and without it, it probably wouldn't be. Well, unfortunately, Paige's aunt passed away. Very sad, very sorry for her. I know she was very close to her. And after Jen and Nick and Dustin, Paige's close friends, had that falling out, Paige had asked, can you please take my brand's products off of your website? Because Jen had been selling her products on her website, using her as a distributor, which they had an agreement for, and she wanted her affiliate promo code deleted with Gerard Cosmetics. Jen said, okay, we'll do both those things. Haven't been selling your product for a week. We'll, give you the payout, all that. And Paige had also asked for Jen to take down the pictures of her aunt from the website, to remove them, which Jen responded, no. She said that they did have permission to use them. They were her property now. And basically that her lawyer would have to speak with the head of the estate, which would be Paige's mom. Now, keep in mind, Paige's mom lost her sister, and I would assume someone that they were very, very close, if Paige was very close with her too, and is going through all of this and now has to deal with this lady, Jeanette. From what Paige has said, Jeanette sent over just a wall of text to Paige's mom, and from what I have read, it really just does seem, again, like legalese scare tactics on Jeanette's part to try to scare them, again, threatening things, and to try to get them to back down. This tactic has worked for a long time, I assume, for Jeanette. Let's not say a long time. She hasn't been practicing that long, but it seems like it has worked so far. So, of course, you're going to do what works, right? Unfortunately. But now that more people are speaking out about her, hopefully she will pump the brakes on those awful scare tactics and threatening multiple year prison time for sending an email. But in my opinion, due to how large and in charge Janet's ego is, I don't think there's a very high probability that she will pump the brakes on all of this unethical and, in my opinion, unlawful behavior. So, of course, Paige made a commentary video about Jen, about the whole situation with Janet, and trying to have the pictures of her deceased aunt taken down off of their website. It does seem pretty schemy and gross and just slimy that she isn't taking it down, because It's not like she's a huge conglomerate. It's not like she has to go through like a bunch of different people and departments and, you know, it's a huge campaign and all this. Jen herself has said that she has a very small team, and that's how she's been able to keep her business going for so long, is because she has a big team. I mean, she even said that on the Sesh podcast that she was on. She can 100% make those decisions. She can 100% take it down. And I think at this point it might just be out of spite, possibly. And that's messed up. That's real messed up. Now, I know that was a lot, and I will definitely give updates if there are any, but I wanted to give you the entire iceberg that is Jeanette Braun of Braun IP Law, because she is infuriating to me. And I wanted you to be able to have a place where you could, you know, just an all-encompassing video. I know these aren't the only situations that she's been involved in. I know these aren't the only people that she represents. However, it's the majority of it, and wanted to lay that all out there for you so that I can speak out against this, in my opinion, unethical behavior, and just explain to you how it's not right. In my opinion, it's unlawful, and it's just not okay to try to silence people and use your power of authority and your legalese and to try to scare people into silence when it's not valid, or it's not in good faith, as she would say. Again, I'm not a lawyer. This is all just my own opinion. Please do not go and harass anyone. Do not contact any business entity or any individual at all. Keep all that in the comments down below. Keep it spicy. Be normal. Don't be weird. Now, one last update before we go. It looks as though Jessie and Lily and Kitti and Bekah Day have reached their goal for their GoFundMe. If you would like to donate to their collective GoFundMe, you can find that at www.thegirliesversejanet.com, and that will redirect you to the GoFundMe. I'm pretty sure they reached their goal within, I think it was like 2 days or less than that, which is amazing. I'm so proud of them. If you're not able to donate, do not. If it is going to put you in any type of like crunch or financial situation, don't do that. But if you want to support them, go ahead. Also watching their videos, sharing their videos, sharing this video, sharing Marky's videos, Bekah's videos, anyone who's making videos about these situations and about how this person is unethical and all that, that definitely helps as well. It gets more eyes and ears on this type of content, educates people on how it is unethical and crazy, and just makes our voices louder. She can't sue everyone or report everyone, okay? I mean, she probably could. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have a great start to your new year, and I will see y'all in my next one.